This is a sad and tragic day for the city of Raleigh.
Right now at 11, several people are dead after a shooting in North Carolina. One of the victims, an off-duty officer.
Plus, people from all walks of life walking together to raise awareness for domestic violence, one step at a time.
Oh, she's trying to take out. She's gonna take out.
Larceny of law enforcement officers caught on camera.
Where news comes first. This is WECT News at 11.
A mass shooting in North Carolina has left 5 people dead tonight. Thank you for joining us. I'm Daniela Henke.
I'm John Evans. That shooter, according to investigators, is now in custody. Now, this all wrapped up within the past hour. In East Raleigh, the call started coming in about 5 o'clock to the Hedingham neighborhood. That's just off I-540 here.
Now, police searched this heavily wooded area for the gunman. You can see that area was right next to Beaver Dam Elementary School. We know one of the 5 killed was an off-duty police officer. Another, a K-9 officer, was shot but is expected to survive.
Investigators contained the shooter, the accused shooter, to a barn in the area. One person said they saw the shooter pass through their backyard. He carried a shotgun and reportedly was dressed in camouflage.
Raleigh's mayor fought back tears as she said this kind of gun violence just has to stop.
We must stop this mindless violence in America. We must address gun violence. We have much to do, and tonight we have much to mourn.
Governor Cooper says he has spoken to Mayor Baldwin.
And he instructed any state law enforcement agencies to offer help to officers in the East Raleigh community. Now, there are still a lot of questions surrounding what happened, like more on the accused shooter and a potential motive for why the shootings happened.
You can download the free WECT News app and turn on breaking news alerts to be the very first to know of any new developments in this story. In North Carolina last year, 75,000 men and women sought help because of a violent relationship. 4 out of every 5 of those victims were women.
In an effort to shine a light on domestic violence and support those victims and survivors, advocates marched in Wilmington streets for the Take Back the Night rally. Hosted by the Domestic Violence Shelter and Services, the theme of this year's rally was Capturing Hope.
WECT's Tiana Johnson heard more of the message that organizers wanted to send.
Dozens of people of all ages marched to support a cause, a world without domestic violence. Many of the participants in this year's Take Back the Night March are survivors who escaped violent relationship. Others, like Marlena Williams, remembers friends or family members who did not survive. Williams honored Danielle Carr, who died at the hands of a partner.
So I'm here tonight to represent her and her family and her kids.
People unite! Take back the night! People unite! Take back the night!
As they marched down Front, Market, and Princess Streets, the group chanted resolutions they hope will empower victims to seek help.
It was really wonderful to be able to gather together tonight to show that we as a community in New Hanover County stand against domestic violence.
Publicly standing strong to offer support and hope. Tiana Johnson, WECT News.
And if you or someone you know needs support or help, the numbers for the 24/7 National Domestic Violence Hotline, they're on your screen right now, along with the one for Domestic Violence Shelter and Services of Wilmington.
And there are other local resources if you live in Pender or Brunswick counties. The Safe Haven of Pender, the Hope Harbor Home in Brunswick County provides support and help for victims and families. Those numbers are on your screen right now as well.
All right, time to take a look at your first alert forecast. Waiting for a cold front to slide through the area of the front that will really pave the way for a gorgeous Friday and also a gorgeous weekend. Really no rain in the forecast at this point. David & Associates First Alert Sky Camera Network showing some clouds moving into southeastern North Carolina, 71 degrees. Front still hasn't pushed through Wilmington, at least as of yet, with a dew point value of 70 and a southerly wind. But by morning, it will be a northerly wind, and those dew point values will be lower. A great school forecast. I think yesterday we graded as a C, but today it's an A+. Pleasant temperatures, plenty of sunshine, 50s starting off, mid-70s by afternoon under mostly sunny skies. And the nice weather carries into the weekend, but some big changes next week. We'll talk about that coming up in a few moments.
Right now, deputies need help to find things stolen from homes in a nighttime crime spree, and security cameras captured the robberies as they happen.
Bladen County Sheriff's Office says this was in the Cape Owen Manor neighborhood. That's around Elizabethtown. Before sunrise, a side-by-side, 2 four-wheelers and a trailer were taken. You're asked to reach out to the Sheriff's Office if you know anything. Well, power is fully restored tonight for tens of thousands of customers in southeastern North Carolina.
Yeah, massive power outages affected 2 different counties and 2 utility companies. As many as 13,000 Duke Energy customers, and 10,000 Brunswick Electric membership customers lost power this afternoon.
The outage also affected people in downtown Wilmington and in Leland, but it didn't last long. The power was back on just a couple of hours later. Now, this was actually the second power outage today alone.
Earlier in the day in Wilmington and New Hanover County, about 3,000 customers ended up losing power, including part of New Hanover Regional Medical Center. Power out at that Novant Health facility for about 45 minutes. Happened in the South Tower, and the backup generators didn't kick in right away either. That impacted the intensive care unit and the ER.
We're told equipment that needed to be on did have backup batteries that did immediately kick on, so there was no panic for nurses or patients. Now, there was also a backup plan for patients to be moved to other parts of the hospital if it was needed.
And we're told the hospital went into what's called diversion. EMS crews were told to take their patients to nearby facilities because of the power outage.
Well, tonight, the former president of the United States faces a subpoena from Congress.
All 9 members of the House Select Committee investigating the January 6th attack voted in favor of that subpoena. Jen Sullivan shows us more of what they had today in the hearing.
The door has been breached.
Never before seen footage showing the terrifying moments when protesters stormed the U.S. Capitol on January 6, 2021. As chaos rained down on the Capitol, new video shows congressional leaders desperately calling the Secretary of Defense and other officials for help and backup.
We have some senators who are still in their hideaways. They need massive personnel now.
Thursday's January 6th committee hearing was the final one before the November midterm elections. Committee members making the argument that former President Donald Trump was and remains a danger to democracy.
This is a question about accountability to the American people. He must be accountable.
During the nearly 3.5-hour hearing, recorded testimony from former Trump aides and officials talking about the 45th president's role leading up to the insurrection were played.
Our duty today is to our country and our children and our Constitution.
The arguments presented leading up to this bombshell moment.
There are 9 ayes and 0 noes.
All 9 committee members voting to subpoena Trump for documents and testimony, a decision Trump blasted.
Thanks to the tireless work of our members and investigators, we have left no doubt, none, that Donald Trump led an effort to upend American democracy that directly resulted in the violence of January 6th.
Thompson also saying the committee has an obligation to hear Trump's testimony. Jen Sullivan, WECT News.
Experts will tell you early detection is the key to preventing and treating breast cancer.
And this month, one hospital is providing free mammograms, and that's a way to help out. Columbus Regional is offering the option for women 40 and older and others who have not had a screening within the past year. Now, you don't have to have insurance. It will be free. Hospital staff will also hand out free robes to the first 20 people who take advantage of the offer. It's actually happening between 1 and 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. And there's a few other events that are taking place across the community this weekend.
Now, the Cape Fear Museum is hosting a Family Day event to learn about fire safety. It's going to close out Fire Prevention Week. Families can watch demonstrations, try out gear that the firefighters use, and actually get an up-close look at some of the equipment the fire department uses. Visitors will also be allowed to explore a new fire exhibit. The event runs from 11 to 2, once again at the Cape Fear Museum along Market Street.
And you can also stop by a firehouse this weekend. The Calabash Fire Department, they're hosting an open house Saturday at noon. Neighbors, you'll have a chance to meet the station's new fire chief. The event will include fire truck rides, firehouse tours, and also educational programs. Again, that event is Saturday from noon to 4 o'clock at the Calabash Fire Department.
Still ahead tonight, a major drought in parts of the United States.
One notable river running dry.